Now what is going to happen for the rest of the afternoon? You'll start working on your projects, kind of digging into things. And in this kind of short section, I want to give you some tips for sort of the team, keeping the team flow going, and give you some heads up of what tends to happen with teams during the week. And then help you with a few logistics tasks. You're going to see this material about sort of teams for tips for working together more on day 2. You'll get reminded about it tomorrow, but I just want you to have seen it. Okay, so some basic tips for working together as a team. A natural thing that happens in the hack weeks is, first of all, on day 1, you're like, oh my God, my head is blown. Like, oh, and now I've just scoped out this humongous project, and it's like deer in the headlights, and you know, your head hurts, too much information. So that's really, really normal, really common. And so for day 1, when you get going on your task, the way that we're helping you deal with that is to encourage you to think about what you personally, what small thing you could do this afternoon. You've got what, an hour? What could you spend an hour on that would help you with the project? Okay, I'm exhausted. I can't take any more. What it would really be good is a walk through the university. Okay, so that's kind of at one extreme. That's fine, that's good, if that's what you need to do. You could say, well, I really need to rewatch that tutorial because my team is going to be downloading data, and this is what I need to get better at that. So just saying, hey, I'm going to rewatch that tutorial. At the other end, maybe you came in, you had a really good idea of exactly what task you want to get started on, and you're like, I want to get started on this particular coding task. Great. But think about that for yourself. For yourself today, what can you do today that's going to help with what you're trying to get out of this hack week? Okay, now let's talk just some key things about working together as teams. A natural thing that happens over the week is some people on the team, they just start grooving on an idea and they go, and then other people are kind of like, oh, wow, I have to learn about it and I don't really know how to contribute. And sort of the teams start drifting apart, kind of, or their experiences start drifting. Totally normal. How do you kind of counteract that? Some simple activities. 1, a daily huddle. I'll describe what that is. It's super fast, super simple. Secondly, visualize and communicate your team activities. This can seem really kind of like it's not really obvious why this helps, but it's really amazing. You see how you see these Post-it notes? The moment maybe you saw this, as you're seeing the task, your mind is able to think about, oh, I could do that. It's either how I could contribute, or maybe it's like, oh, wow, that's cool. I want to talk with this person and see how they did that, because I'd like to learn how to do what they're doing, that sort of thing. So there's a lot of different ways you could do a team board. I'll show you an example, but it's going to go from formal to super, super informal. And then sharing your work. I'll show you your GitHub repository. And I would just say that in this Hack Week environment, if you do little code snippets, you write a little function to do something, and you throw it up on your repository, that creates this opportunity for derivative work. Somebody else looks at that and they build on it. But if you just write it and you don't kind of throw it up there, then that can't happen. All right. Oh, and then the last one is this idea of pair working and pair programming. That's going to be happening naturally. That's a great thing about being back in person. Okay, daily huddle. What does that look like? The classic daily huddle, it's also called the stand-up. It's what's called a time-boxed check-in. And what does that mean, time-boxed? It means You say how long it's going to take, and you're not going to go into this long discussion. 15-minute talk, and you go around each person. What did I do yesterday? Or what did I just finish? Kind of depending when you're doing this. What am I working on next? And then where am I stuck? What things could I use help on? That last one, super important. I'll give you a concrete example of something that happened in a group that I was in, where we weren't doing a daily check-in and talking about where we were stuck. And we had people on the team who didn't know any Python and were stuck with super, super basic Python things, like for 2 days. And we had somebody on the team who could have solved that in, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, right? So by doing that check-in, you sort of highlight to the team where you're stuck, and then other people can help you. And also the team leader figures out where you're stuck, and if it can't be solved in the team, can reach out to like the help channel, and you don't have to get stuck on things like that. GitHub is another thing that people will spend way too much time being stuck on. We have lots of people who can help you with that. So simple daily check-in, I would say, is like the most important thing to like keep things moving along. An activity or a task board. Again, I'm showing kind of a formal example here, but it can be really, much more informal. I will just say that having some visual representation of what you're up to, it really changes the way that teams interact. So I'd encourage you to play around with this idea, try this idea. Again, we're not forcing you to do any particular thing. Here's a classic activity board. Each person puts a sticky of what they're doing, and you have all your ideas on one side, and then you put, this is what I'm doing. If you get stuck on something, you move it over to barriers so somebody can see that and help you. And then what you've accomplished. Putting in the done is fun because then you like see, oh wow, we're doing things. Okay. And like I said, there's all these reasons why this changes the dynamic. Your help. So we have a help in some different ways. I'm going to be checking in with project leaders. I'll do that, try to do that daily, just, how's it going? Maybe it'll be quick and it'll be like, yeah, it's going great. Okay, cool. Maybe, hey, we need some help with this. Okay. Reach out to the organizers. I put me, but it can just be anyone on the organizing team if you need some facilitation help. We have the Slack channel. Please don't be shy about posting there. And we have helpers with various things like Python and GitHub and the Jupyter Hub. So you don't have to be stuck on that. Okay, so next, let's talk about a few logistics. And I'm going to show you these two things. So first one, create a Slack channel for discussion. So team leader, you're going to do this, and oh dear. Do I have it? Here we go. Okay, great. Okay, so once you get on Slack, you're a team leader, you're going to click add channel and then give the name of your project and then add your team members. Oh, can you change it? Yeah. And then I'm going to get onto the GitHub too. Yes, Slack. Okay. Okay, so team leader, add the channel, and then either add your team members or alert them to the existence of this, and then they can search for it and add it themselves. So just use that to chat among yourselves. Secondly, how do I get back to GitHub? Which browser? Is it this one? Is that your browser? Yeah, okay, great. And do we need to do something? Nope. Okay. So, great. Okay. So so the team leader will be doing this. If you run into any trouble, I'll be sitting here, just come over to me and I'll get you going. You're going to go to your organization. And then, yeah, I have a ton of organizations, but here, great. You're going to click this new button right there. And then you're going to click here where it says no template. You're going to click template and then click this sample project repository. And then you're going to give it a name. So obviously it's not going to be my project. Whatever you want to give it, whatever name you want. Okay, you're going to change it to public. And then you'll say create. Okay, and you will now have a project that looks like this. And all your team members will be able to contribute this as soon as you add them. So you haven't added anyone yet. So you'll need, after you've created your Slack channel, you can start to get everyone's GitHub usernames on your team. And then you'll go to settings, collaborators and teams. And then you'll say add people and start entering their usernames. And once you do that and add everyone, then they're going to be able to collaborate on this repository. Okay, so let's go back here. So now this part applies to everyone on the team. So I talked about how you sharing things allows other people on your team to kind of learn from you and also help you. And then you can create things that you can share. So there's kind of two things that goes on here. So one, the contributors is just like your sandbox. You can be working, but other people can see what you're doing. And notebooks or scripts might be things that you're creating for your project. So contributors is kind of your sandbox. So you're going to go here. And once you're added, you can create some folders. And then if I'm team member one, team member one here, I can add stuff here directly, or you can clone this into your Jupyter Hub and start adding things in. Okay, by doing a commit and then a push. Okay, I'm going to stop there. That's enough info for you to get started for the afternoon. Any questions before you break up? Yes.
When you were making the repository, there was a little button that said like, copy branches, or if you didn't click it, you only got the main branch.
That's fine.
We click that? Should we do anything with that?
Just the main branch is fine.
Great.
Yep. Any other questions? Super. Okay, so Anthony, do we know where we're going to, or is it just first come, first serve for the spaces?
It sure is.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
Thanks, Eli. I think we'll just let people kind of self-organize if that works. Let us know if you need help figuring out where to go. I have a question about maybe continuing work after this building closes, which, usually is it 5? Or 7? Oh, okay.
Great. And we have the 2 rooms up there, like there's a big room and then there's a smaller room and they have big whiteboards and everything.
And the 216 now. Okay, so yeah, I think all those 3 now, since there's not another group there.
Yeah.
However, it's been a long day and we encourage you also to take care of yourselves, take a breath. Definitely don't need to stay here until 7. But if you are excited and like to do so, leave it up to you. I just want to thank all the presenters from today. Let's give them a round of applause.
So if you If you did not get a meal card, let me know. I will have it tomorrow. And if you want a COVID test, then you're staying indoors. They should have them at front desk for you. I'm sorry, they should have those at, Willow for you. And, if you want to go back to the East Side Studio, you're welcome to do that as well. If they reserved over there.
Oh,
Do the boss work here? I thought they showed.
They should, but I don't think it's people.
And we're gonna start at 8:30 tomorrow. Today was the only day we started at 8:45. So we're pushing back 15 minutes just because we have a lot of content and tutorial. The building will be open at 8. Is that right? Yeah, 7. So want to get there early, get set up, great too. Any other questions before we close the formal session today?
Jenny told us you can leave the, you don't have to take the, wall tapestries down. Leave them there.
All right. Thanks a lot, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.